Welcome to Empowered Heart to Heart, where you'll hear messages of hope, conversations that heal, and interviews that empower. This is Dr. Rhonda Simmons, and welcome to another edition of Empowered Heart to Heart. I am so glad to have you on the show today. It is a great day to be alive and a great day to tune in with me, your host, and we're just going to have a fireside chat today. That's why I like calling it Empowered Heart to Heart, because sometimes in life, we just need to have a heart-to-heart conversation. Can I get a witness? It is so true. But before we jump into our show today, make sure you like, comment, and share this video. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, make sure you hit the subscribe and the notification button so that you'll be notified every single time I upload a new video, because it's happening a lot. You don't want to miss a single thing. Also, make sure that you share this podcast episode if you're listening to my podcast, so that your friends will know what you're listening to and they can be encouraged as well, because we're all about empowerment, about helping each other be stronger, be better versions of ourselves in whatever our respective spaces are in life and what we do. We can all be better. And so make sure that you share this episode with your friends. If you ever want to be on the show, or you have something that you just want to share with me, reach out to me on our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Our handle is TSEFIORG. All one word. I know that was a mouthful, but that's better than saying the Simmons Empowerment Foundation Incorporated. Okay. That's my nonprofit, of which I am the founder and CEO. So look me up. I am there on social media, and so I'd be glad to hear from you. So, as is my custom, every single time I have a special guest on our podcast, I make this statement: that I have met some of the best people this side of heaven, and today is no exception. I'm serious. In the 2 years that I've had this podcast, I have met some great people from all over the world. They are phenomenal. And it's been such an exciting journey. And I'm so happy to be a part of this journey with you. And so today is no exception, because we're going to be talking with Mrs. Christine Linscomb. She is a dedicated wife, mother, and a seasoned professional who has seamlessly navigated multiple career paths with grace and purpose. She's an active member of her church, and she has a foundational background as a registered nurse, which is really cool. Christine possesses a deep understanding of care and compassion, and I think that's a huge part of nursing. You want that, those qualities in your nurse. And she now channels all of that into her role as a licensed financial professional. And that's important. And we're going to talk about the connection of those two worlds in just a few minutes. Her journey took a profound turn following the loss of a loved one, and an experience that fueled her mission to educate and support others through life insurance. And so I'm glad to be able to introduce to my audience Mrs. Christine Linscomb. Hello, Christine. How are you?
Hello, hello. How are you doing? I'm very happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you on the show. You have quite the background, and I'm excited to jump in with both feet today. And so, first of all, I'm sorry about the loss of your loved one. I know that can be a traumatic experience for you. But I love how you turned your pain into power, and you're here today. So tell us, whatever part of the story about how you transitioned from being a registered nurse to someone in the financial planning space, and how the connections are with those two fields.
Yes, so I'm actually still a practicing nurse. So I've been a nurse for about 8 years now. And over my years, I have just really observed that once it's time for our patients to discharge, if they are discharging to like a rehab, sometimes insurance don't cover all of that, not even Medicare. And so Families start reaching out to GoFundMe accounts and creating these accounts, and really depending and relying on the community to really donate to their expenses. And so I started realizing, there was this huge financial gap within the healthcare system. Um, and we need to be educated on how we could start, outsourcing and just learning about life insurance and how we could actually use it while we are alive. Because there's this, everyone thinks that life insurance, we could just use it while we're dead. Like we can't use it while we're alive. The money just goes straight to the family. However, things have really evolved and now we can use it while we are alive. But the triggering part for me was whenever I lost my aunt in her early 40s. She was diagnosed with colorectal cancer. And, it really just hit home. One of my favorite aunts, and just seeing the pain that she went through, still striving to be present for her children, and being very involved, but also still working. She would log into her computer, and she would try the best to just be present and work. But it was very difficult for her. I know that she had life insurance through her job, which is great. However, I believe that if she was educated about life insurance outside of her job, having her own private life insurance, maybe things could have been a lot different for her during her last couple of months with us. But after she passed away, I really dived knee deep into just educating myself about life insurance and just seeing how could have things been different. And so I started learning about living benefits with life insurance. And I'm like, oh, living benefits. I don't know if you want me to go into that right now. Um, but yeah, living benefits and just seeing, oh, she could have used this while she was alive. Oh, wow. And just learning so many different things. And so, just from that knowledge and my expertise in the medical industry, I just decided to just start bringing those two together and just educating our population, especially our community, about how life insurance is really needed and how it's a necessity for us because no one really plans on getting sick. Um, Illnesses don't really have an age limit. We could fall ill at any time. We can get into an accident at any time. But just having that financial safety net of life insurance could really just give us that peace of mind so that we could just focus on recovering instead of worrying about, paying the bills, paying medical bills, and so forth.
Wow. There's one recurring word that you said in everything that you said, and that was education. It reminded me of a Bible verse that says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And um, getting educated in these fields, like you're saying something that I was completely unaware of. Like you said, when you say life insurance, I'm already thinking, okay, somebody's going to die, so that's when that kicks in. And really, they ought to call it death insurance, really. But what you're proposing truly is life insurance, and that it can be used. That's a whole new body of knowledge that is not widely known, at least not in my circles, and I haven't heard a lot of talk about that. This is powerful information. So, um, can you expound upon some of the things that are accessible to a person who has life insurance and that they can use now?
Yeah. So I could really just start with the foundation. So really understanding the different types of life insurance. So there, the regular type of life insurance, term insurance. That is the one that everyone know of, just like the death benefit. Whenever that person passes away, they have coverage, hopefully to pay off the mortgage, any debt that needs to be settled, funeral expenses, and also hopefully they have enough money for the family to use for whatever reason they want to use it for. And then there is the term insurance with living benefits. So living benefits is an amazing rider, and that's how you're able to use the insurance while you are alive. So it's terminal, chronic, and critical illness. So terminal illness, if you get cancer, the medical is telling you you only have 12 months left to live. You can get a good portion of your coverage given to you from the insurance company for you to use however you want to use it. And then there is the critical and chronic. So cancer, not cancer, but like stroke, heart attack, things like that, you will also be able to get a portion of your coverage for you to use to pay medical bills, your home bills, just things that needs to be paid off so that you could just focus on healing and recovering and not stress and worry about the bills and medical expenses, because stress is actually an inflammatory response to our body. So us stressing, we're inflaming basically whatever illness that we have going on. So we're just exacerbating those symptoms and we're making ourselves even more sick. So we could just try to alleviate as much stress as we can and, invest in life insurance, have that safety net.
You have preached a whole sermon, Christine. So, I mean, from the point about stress, inflaming whatever illness that you have, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I need to go back because there are a couple of things that you said that were just huge aha moments for me. So many people are thinking if they have a chronic illness or a terminal illness, that immediately makes them uninsurable. So can people in those predicaments still get term life insurance with the living benefits too?
So that is a really hard question to answer. It really just depends on the insurance company and what their qualifications are. Each insurance company have their certain qualifications. For example, there are some insurance companies that would really approve someone with diabetes. And there's other insurance policies where they're like, oh, you have diabetes? No, that's like an automatic denial. So it just depends on which insurance company that you're looking at, pretty
Okay,
much.
fair enough. Wow. And so another question I had, if you or anyone, if they use a portion of their term life insurance with the living benefits to pay medical bills or whatever, does that detract from the amount that their families would get on the policy if they pass away?
Yes. Yes, it will. So one thing that I could say that may help is just really getting insured while you're young and healthy. The younger population don't really see the importance or don't really want to understand it or put out that money to pay monthly. But just the importance of getting insurance while they are young and healthy, because whenever in your 20s, you can probably get $500,000 for like $15 to $20 monthly. And so if you're not trying to, make your family rich, $500,000, that should be enough for you to be buried. That should pay off a mortgage. That could pay off debt. Hopefully you don't have a huge amount of debt. But I mean, that should be enough for you, for your family to pay off what they need to pay off and then also have expenses for whatever they need to cover.
So for the cost of lunch, they could have $500,000 worth of coverage and have the living benefits too.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Wow. That's wisdom.
Mhm.
I understand millennials, and I was there. I'm not in my 20s anymore. We're not going to talk about that, but I'm not I'm not in my 20s anymore, but I remember distinctly thinking I could not imagine life past 40. I I had no vision of life past 40. I didn't know, I'm like, Jesus will return by then. I have no idea, you know, and now I'm like, ooh, if I could just go back.
Mhm.
And so it is so important. This is some powerful wisdom here. Talk to us more about how stress, I believe your word was exacerbates any conditions we have going on in our bodies. Can you
Yeah.
speak to that?
So if you just think of something, it's not getting enough rest. You know, life here in America is very busy, especially if you have kids, taking care of the kids, we're rushing to work, we got to pick up the kids. And sometimes within all that hustle and bustle, something is being sacrificed. And most of the time that's our sleep. And so we may not realize it, but then our body starts telling us, like, oh, I start feeling myself getting sick. Your immune system starts going down. You feel yourself feeling really tired and sluggish. Your nose is sniffling, like you're getting a cold. So that is actually, you're putting stress in your body, not giving your body enough time for you to rest. Your body's not getting enough time to rest and recover. And so that right there, that's you putting stress in your body. And then your body starts, that inflammation starts developing, which is a cold. Your nose is sniffling, all of that extra stuff. So something simple like that, that's pretty much how the process is. Whenever you have an illness and everything else is exacerbated, the symptoms are.
Wow. Wow, this is just good information. Yes, this is a Christian podcast rather. Um, However, I'm all about practical living and taking um, education. And because I don't recall reading any scriptures that specifically talk about life insurance, but this is practical information that we need to improve our lives, to understand our bodies, because many of us don't have the health background that you do. Yes, I have a doctorate, but mine is in educational leadership. We didn't discuss health, physical health, but by the same token, I have to take this body with me wherever I go.
Yeah.
And so this is good knowledge here.
Well, then, too, the Bible says our body is a temple.
Yes, ma'am.
Our body is a temple. So we have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of our family. And taking care of ourselves, we're talking about stress. Alleviate that stress. No one plans on getting sick. No one wants to get sick. But if you do have a plan, life insurance could be a part of that plan. It doesn't have to be expensive. You could get coverage within your means that you could afford. But at least have something there to give yourself that safety net, that grace, so that you could take care of your body. If you do get sick, take care of your body, rest, recover, so that you could bounce back quicker.
Okay. This is good. So, what about our listeners who may or may not, let's go with may not have pre existing conditions? However, they're 40 years old or older. What do you recommend for them as far as life insurance is concerned?
They can still qualify for life insurance. It could still be pretty affordable as well, within their means. If they want 10,000 just for funeral expenses, um, I don't know. That could probably be like $20 to $30, depending on the insurance company, I should say. But it's still pretty affordable.
Absolutely, especially when you look at the long term effects
Mhm.
of that. What about the person who has gone through a complete lifestyle change, and let's say they've lost 100 pounds or more, and they've gone from being, unhealthy, everything that goes along with obesity, and
Mhm.
now they're healthy, they're off of blood pressure medication, they're not diabetic, they're not taking any medication for that. What is their insurability like at this point?
They can definitely be insured as long as they have like a medical paper trail, I would say,
Mhm.
because with these insurance companies, they go through like your medical history. They're contacting your current doctor. They're looking through all this medical history, and so
Mhm.
they would see how your medical history was before and how it currently is. And if they deem like, well, currently they're in perfect health, they've lost weight, their life expectancy is a lot longer than it was before, they're maintaining their weight, they're this life change, then they can for sure be covered.
Wow. That's amazing. Christine, you have provided such a wealth of knowledge here. And I love, like I said at the beginning of the interview, I love how you took your pain and your grief and you turned it into not only power, but you equipped yourself to empower others. And we really applaud you for that. And thank you
Thank
for
you.
being in this space. And so, how would people reach out to you if they have additional questions about life insurance?
Yes, I am on Facebook. I have my website on there, and I am also on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram at lovely_Chrissy_01.
Okay. Lovely Chrissy _01. Okay. I'm going to try to put that up on the screen while we finish talking. You said on Instagram. Gotcha.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you said you're also on Facebook?
Yes, on Facebook as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. This has been so powerful. When I read your I love the Chrissy 01. Okay. When I read your bio, I was thinking, I wonder how this conversation is going to go. Um, because I've never had anyone on the show to talk about life insurance. But man, this has been so enlightening. And
Yes.
and so if you're watching on our YouTube, it's on the screen, lovely Chrissy _01 at Instagram. Reach out to Mrs. Linscomb. Reach out to her. Get your questions answered. Because one thing I know is that, especially in our African American community, we are notorious for not having our business straight. Uh,
Mhm.
I hate to say it. I'm not downing anybody. I love being African American. Don't go there. Don't come for me. This is not that. I'm just saying, historically, we just tend to think in the moment, and I don't know about others, but sometimes we have this preconceived idea that, well, if you just present them with the death certificate, then that'll take care of everything, like as far as your bills are concerned. That may have worked 20 years ago, 30 years ago, but things are different. And so all I am saying is that we need to be empowered with knowledge. We
Mhm.
need to know what we need to do. We say we love our families, well, then provide for them. And I think the Bible talks about, if we don't take care of our families, we're worse than an infidel.
It does. It does say that.
Yeah. And so, and I believe it also talks about in Proverbs that a good person leaves an inheritance
Uh-huh.
for their children.
Yes.
And so I tell you, that Bible covers everything, every aspect of our lives. Now, just because we may or may not have read the specific verses we need for our situation doesn't mean it's not in there. We need to
Mhm.
find out, and so I'm glad that we have people in the life insurance space like yourself who can walk us through this journey and educate us. That is so powerful. You have no idea the impact that you've made just in these 24 minutes.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you. I'm
yes,
really happy to hear that. That's really my
yeah,
purpose.
absolutely, absolutely. In fact, excuse me, I know we're still recording, but I'm just going to put you on the spot because I have um, an Empower Her. That's what I call it. Empower Her Women's Leadership Virtual Mixer coming up on Tuesday, October the 29th. It's a networking opportunity for high achieving women, Christian women. Even if you're not Christian, you're invited to. We're not trying to exclude people, but it is for high achieving women to network, because you don't know how what you're offering would line up with someone else, and maybe you can collaborate in some way. Or if nothing else, tell me where I can go buy some insurance. Let's have that conversation. And in fact, my last podcast interview was a result of someone else that I had interviewed telling her about me. And so that's how we ended up on the show together. And so our power is in our networking, and so I would love to have you, if you're available. We'll talk about that after the show, but if you are available, I would love to have you for one of our breakout sessions. It's a free event, y'all, to just come together and just see what each other's doing and how we can possibly collaborate, because there are so many people out here who need what we have to offer, and we're stronger together. And so, Christine, I appreciate you being on the show. Any final words of encouragement or empowerment that you want to share?
You stole my quote. I was actually going to speak about Proverbs 13:22.
Yes.
But I'm so happy that you said it. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. That is powerful. God talks about it so many years ago. And so now we have this wonderful tool called life insurance. So we should definitely take advantage of this tool. I believe that if we really educate our community and just the whole of US, only 42% of Americans believe that they don't have enough coverage. So yes, they don't have enough coverage. And there was a study done by Biometer. They revealed that 46 of African Americans believe that they need more coverage as well. So we really need to educate, get the word out there, so that people really understand just the power of life insurance.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Christine, I've enjoyed having you on the show. Thank you. This has been great and very empowering and enlightening, and I appreciate you today.
Thank you so much.
If you will hang out just for a moment, I will be right back with you while I wrap up the show. Okay?
Yes,
wow. That was so cool. Way better than I ever could have imagined. Wow, I've learned so much, and I know you did too. Yes, you did. Miss Christine brought out things that you did not know about life insurance. I always thought it just kicked in when you died, and you never got the benefit of it. You were providing for your beneficiaries. But wow, what an amazing opportunity this was to share some knowledge. I'm telling you, get in the room with Christine, get your questions answered about life insurance. I love the fact that she's also coming with a medical background in nursing. I am so excited about that. So she is a professional. Don't get it twisted. She's not just talking off the top of her head. She is a professional. And I love the fact that she took such a painful experience as the loss of her aunt to honor her aunt in such a way that she turned that pain and grief into power. What an honor to her aunt. And I'm so glad that Christine was on our show today. So reach out to her. Again, she's on Instagram at lovelychrissy_01. Make sure you reach out to her and let her know that you heard the show and you want some more information. I know she'll be glad to work with you. So until the next time, be blessed, be encouraged, but most of all, be empowered. And I'll see you on the next edition of Empowered Heart to Heart.